Hey guys, I hope you're all having a great day, and today I'm going to be talking about the books that I have recently read. So for an update, I will not be doing monthly wrap-ups just because I don't read enough books to do monthly wrap-ups. I have started this year strong though. I have read 12 books since the beginning of the year, so I have read 4 books a month so far, which is really good, but I am not holding myself to that standard because it might not go as planned. So we'll see how it goes. But for this quarter, which I will be doing the whole year in quarters, so it will be easier for me to follow, and I think it'll make just a more interesting video, period. I will be talking about the books that I have recently read from not worst, but least liked to really loved. So it will be from worst to best technically, but it's not a worst book that I have ever read, it's just that it's not the best. Starting strong, we have Shattered Vow by Eva Chase. I read this book as an ebook and I honestly flew through the book. The story has so much potential, it's insane. I immediately fell in love with the storyline and the premise of what could happen in the story. It was really interesting. It's about this girl who, with 4 guys who have been genetically modified at birth, so like they were born different, and they have been trained soldiers to go and do these weird missions, and you don't really know why they're doing all of this, but the story starts where they try to escape and it fails and one of the guys dies, and the main character is put in like a fight cave match. I don't even know how to explain it, but like a place where you have to fight or else you die. So that's kind of where she ended up, and she escapes from that place and tries to go back to find the guys that were with her in the prison facility, the place where they were growing up, I guess. I wouldn't call that home, but like their home, I guess. The premise is so interesting because I have read the Broken Bonds series and I am in love with that series. I haven't talked about it yet on this channel, but I will because I am in love with the story. Like it's 6 books I think in this series, but the storyline, the character developments, the relationships, everything is so good. And I feel like people aren't talking enough about this series because it is a smutty, spicy series, and so I feel like everything is just put to the side and people just see, oh, it's spicy, I don't want to read it. If you don't want to read spice, it's totally fine, but when I don't want people to just assume that it's just spice, like there's a whole story, there's a whole character dynamic, so like it's really good, and I feel like the spice is just like, for me, cherry on top, but it's so much more than just spice. For this series, I really had hope that it would be good, just like that. So maybe my hopes were a little too high. The potential of it is so strong, but I wasn't a fan of the writing styles. We follow different POVs, so we have the main character's POV, but we also have the other guy's POV, and the girl's POV, she talks like a 14-year-old, but she's supposed to be like, I don't know, in her early 20s, and so it was kind of weird. And the way she was making certain sentences, it just felt wrong. And she kept saying like, it's been 4 years since I haven't seen my guys. And the fact that she says my guys, it just reads weird, I feel like. And I also have that meme of, I don't even remember his name, but it's like, my wife. And so every time I read my guys, I just read it like my guys, and it was weird. I didn't like it. That's my own problem. But I wasn't a fan of the writing style, and I felt like it was throwing me off at some places where you really want to get attached and connected, but the writing style was keeping me like omnipresent, and I felt like I was just watching in on all of this happening, but I didn't feel any of it, and I didn't really like it. So because of that, I gave that book a 3 stars, and I don't know if I'm going to be continuing the series. I might want to give it a chance, maybe read the second book, but if I don't get hooked by the second book, I will not continue. Next book that we have, now it's a whole bunch of books that are 4 stars, so it's just a melting pot of books. I read so many novellas from a collection of books, which is the Scared Sexy series. So you have 6 books that are like 100 pages about, and they're all from different writers, and it's all like small stories about, well, all kinds of stuff. You have vampires, you have werewolves, you have monsters, and I gave all of these stories 4 stars because it was just, I was in a big reading slump with my e-reader, and I thought the e-reader was the problem, but it wasn't that. It was the story I was reading. So I kept reading these little novellas to like get me out of my reading slump, and it kind of worked, but like they weren't extraordinary books and they weren't extraordinary stories. Some I thought were really creative though. I have never read something like that, so I was kind of disappointed almost that it was just a novella and it wasn't like a whole book, because I would have been interested into reading a whole book of that, but that's fine. So sorry, I didn't name the books. I read Beautiful Nightmare by Katie Robert, My Boyfriends Are All Monsters by Kimberly Lemming, Space Vampire by Ruby Dixon, Spicy Little Curses by J.T. Geisinger, so sorry, and Falling by Christina Lauren. Next, I read Black Beauty by Anna Sewell. I listened to this as an audiobook and I am in love with it. I watched the movie when I was a child, and I am obsessed with horses, and I have been since I was very young. I just thought it was really fitting to read the actual classic and to immerse myself back into this story. And when I finished the book, I immediately watched the movie. Next book I gave 4 stars is Bound by Ali Hazelwood. This was an audiobook, I believe, that I listened to. It was really interesting. I really loved the premise of the whole book. It's about a girl who plagiarizes books. That sounds wrong. Well, it's wrong, but I mean, she copies old books and sells them, making it seem that it's the original copy of like really old books that nobody has seen in like years. And so she just has seen either a copy of the book or even the original, and she copies it and sell it to like anybody who will buy it. And she finds herself with this man who wants her to make a copy, a forgery of a book, and he offers her a lot of money, so she agrees, and that's how the story starts. Alright, now we are on to my 4.5 stars. There are no 5 stars this quarter. I am very sad about it, but it might come later this year. We hope so. But 4.5 is really strong, so I'm not upset about it. I really love these books, so it's fine. I read Scarred by Emily McIntyre, which I thought was the second book in the Hooked series, which is wrong. It is technically, but they're all novellas, so they're not linked together, which I thought it was. And I started reading the book not knowing that it wasn't like the continuation of the Hooked story, and I was very confused at first. And so I reread the back and I was like, oh, it's not the same thing. Oops. So this book is basically a retelling of The Lion King. Is it? Well, kind of. It's very loosely inspired by The Lion King. You have 2 brothers, one has a throne and one wants it. And I think that's pretty much it. Don't quote me on that, okay? I have no clue. I just picked it up, I read it, it was awesome. The storyline was a bit confusing, I will say, because at the beginning there are a lot of people mentioned. And you don't really see them like afterwards. You see them like 4 chapters after, and you're like, who the fuck is that? And then you remember that you were introduced to that person like 4 chapters ago and you totally forgot. There is some spice in this book, and the yearning is immaculate. 5 out of 5 for that. I loved it. Next book that I read that was 4.5 stars is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I decided to pick up the audiobook for that because I know the movie is coming and I still hadn't read that book, so I really wanted to read it before watching the movie, and I still don't know when it's going out. I don't know if I missed an update or something, but if you guys know anything about that, I would like to know. I absolutely loved Olive and Adam's relationship throughout it all. The fake dating is such a nice trope and I really love it. I think it has to be done well, but when it's done well, all the cheesy parts just become funny, and it fits well with everything. It blends everything in and it doesn't feel staged. It just feels like, of course that would happen because they're fake dating, and it doesn't feel pushed. So it's perfect. I also read Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. I listened to this book as an audiobook, and let me tell you, holy hell. If you are not an English speaker by birth, don't listen to this audiobook. It was so hard to listen. I had to concentrate so much to what he was saying because it was so difficult to keep track of the number of days, of the direction to which he was going, because the narrator was really, really good, but it felt so fluid that at some point I didn't care where he was going, if it was north, south, west, east. I don't give a shit. Because I couldn't remember any of it and I couldn't find myself in that labyrinth. It was impossible. And the fact that he would describe perfectly where he was going, it was so intense. I did not like it, but like at some point it just entered my ear, came out of the other, and I just listened to the actual story and not which western wall he was going, so we don't care. It took me a while to get to this book, I have to be honest. Like the first quarter, almost third of the book, I was like, where is this going? I don't know what is going on. I have already much difficulty to listen to this book. Like if this keeps going with nothing happening, I will lose my shit. I don't want to know more. I will just give up on this book. But then when you say that, shit starts happening and you're like, hold up, what is going on? Why is this happening? And why is it happening? So I kept not reading, I kept listening, and it was so good. I really loved it, and it's a spoiler, so I'm not gonna say it, but I'm so glad that it wasn't what I thought it would be, because it would have been so disappointing. So I really love that it didn't go that way and it went just another way completely that I didn't anticipate, so it was perfect. And lastly, I read a 2026 book. I read The Legend of the Nine-Tailed Fox by Katrina Kwan. This book I gave 4.5 just because I would have given 5. So let me explain why. This book is about a demon who is a nine-tailed fox who can transform herself with a magic mask to become human. So she can be in a village and people don't know that she's a demon, and then she takes off her mask and eats people. She gets caught by this soldier whose lifelong purpose is to destroy all demons from their world. So they have magic there, like not just the demons, but like humans can have magic also. And so they banish her, Yue, her name is, the nine-tailed fox, into hell. But while she's like descending into hell, she grabs the soldier that captured her and brings him with her. And so they go into hell and they have to escape hell to go back to the human realm. I would have given, with the storyline, the characters' development, the characters' relationships, the side characters that were so good, and all the villains were like so interesting. So the whole thing, I would have given 5 stars. But I listened to this as an audiobook, and I don't know if it's her writing style or if it's the narrator that she didn't suck, but she said some words in some intonations that were just weird. But I didn't know if it was just the sentence that was weird or if it was the way she said it that was weird. So I don't really know. That's why I'm not taking a whole star off, because I didn't want to put it at 4 stars because I don't think it deserves that, because I don't know if it's the narrator's fault or the writer's fault. So I'm kind of in a mess here, and I don't really want to reread this book because I just read it, so I don't want to reread it and buy it because I just did. And so I don't know if the writing style was kind of iffy, or if it was just a narrator that just didn't really get it and just said words weirdly. So I don't know. So that was it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Tell me down below which books you have read this month or in the last few months. Let me know. I would really like to know if you have any recommendations. Feel free. I always take recommendations, especially if you have like good reasons for it. Like, at least give me one reason to read this book, and I'll probably add it to my lifelong TBR. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next week. Goodbye.